Hello, welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
I'm Corey Baumeister.
And as always, we are brought to you by Star City Games and Carnox Chairs. Make sure to check out carnox.com/SCG if you want to get one of these for yourself and be as comfortable as Corey looks right now.
What? Were you talking to me? Yes, I am comfy.
And we got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
He'll be taking your questions, comments, concerns, and burns. Make sure you tag at SCG Tour in the chat if you want to get those in, and he will be writing down his favorite ones and sending them over to us.
I like to add burns in there. That's nice. Yes. He'll be taking burns as well.
Especially if they're on Corey, not if they're on me.
Yeah.
Yes. Very one-sided with our burns here.
Very
on Versus Live. So, today, we're getting into some modern, but we are getting into some of the wackiness of modern. You know, for a couple months, it's been all Hogak this and Hogak that, and different flavors.
Hogak?
Crab Gak, Glow Gak, and Bridge Gak, and we're kind of sick of the Gak.
We're sick of that word.
Yes.
Yeah.
Modern historically has been a format with a lot of weird kooky decks sitting around on the fringes. Mm-hmm. So we're going to be highlighting a lot of those, many of which did pretty well last weekend in the Grand Prix that was going on, and then the Team Constructed Open. So a lot of success from these decks, and we've got some fun ones for you today. We're going to be starting out with what's on your side?
Mardu Shadow. Mardu Shadow, and this, I don't even know if we can consider this a fringe deck. It took down the GP. It took down GP Hogak up in, Birmingham, I believe. So I wouldn't even consider this fringe. I mean, we're all used to this Grixis Shadow kind of metagame, but I think Mardu Shadow is kind of the new hotness these days. Ranger
Captain of Eos.
Is it Ranger Captain of Eos?
As opposed to Ranger of Eos. The Ranger of Eos is the original.
Now this is the Captain.
Yeah, Ranger hyphen Captain. You know, like it's the in-between rank.
Sure. Okay, so the Lieutenant of Eos.
No,
here.
Lieutenant's beneath that.
Dang it. Okay, well this one's playing this card, but the major difference is that instead of like Ranger of Eos from Shadow back in the day, I know that wasn't played a ton.
That was like a cyber card in the Jund versions.
There you go. But yeah, I would say an upgrade from Grixis Shadow. I think the cantrips aren't as good right now. You can't be expecting to like Stubborn Denial your way to victory. That's pretty bad against Hogak. Not even that good against Urza because their combo piece is a creature. So Stubborn Denial just seems really bad right now. But Mardu Shadow took down last weekend, and it's pretty strong.
Yeah, there was a team open that the Modern C, Jeremy Bertarioni was playing this. They won, that was like a month or two ago when Bridgevine was big in Pittsburgh, I believe. So
it's Bridge Gak.
Sure. Yeah. A couple of good tournament finishes from this deck, but we haven't seen it, show up in huge numbers in any given tournament.
Yeah.
It's put up some notable results, but with all the being overshadowed a bit by the Broken Graveyard deck. But it is definitely a potent archetype. Ranger Captain just gives you so many extra copies of Death Shadow.
Yeah.
You got the 1-up Hex Parasite to 2/4, which does some cool stuff, but you're really just using it to find more shadows. You usually stop them from casting spells for a turn and just set up these kills. Which is pretty nice. And now they've incorporated Tidehollow Scholar as another piece of disruption.
I like that. Yeah, Jacob Wilson kind of popularized this deck. And it seems like it's just been getting upgrades since then, and I think the deck's pretty good.
Yeah, definitely one of the decks that's poised to continue to do well should Hogak be banned. There's a long pedigree of Death Shadow being good, whether it's Jund, Grixis, and now Mardu. So, they almost always have that red just for a little bit of Temur Battle Rage. It always seems like red is the third color, but it's also the color that always stays next to black. It
has to.
Yeah, it's always the third color. Black's your first color. You just got to pick the second one. That's the one that changes.
Well, it's always insane. It's like, what are you at? Like, 19? Oh, you're dead.
Yes.
With one little Battle Rage. The card's just insane.
It just adds that little combo element to the deck, which is really nice.
Exactly.
And lets you close out games, which is important for a deck full of discard, because you can't discard the top of their deck.
Exactly. Smart.
Got to kill them. And you're going to be playing against what I think is the strangest of the 6 decks.
This one's odd.
Yeah.
This one's odd.
This is from the top 4 of the Team Open from last weekend. This is Lee McLeod, who always, and I really hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, he always plays weird artifact decks.
Okay.
That's his thing. If you don't know, it's what he does. Played a lot of Ironworks. He's played a lot of War Prison, but he always has some different spin to it.
Sure.
And this charge counter Surge Node kind of thing has been around for a while with Astral Cornucopia and Everflowing Chalice. So you get to play them for 0, and they help power out your Mox Opals. But then you just add counters to them with Core Tapper and Surge Node, and you just have this huge amount of mana. And he's like, you know what? colorless cards, huge amounts of mana.
What could that go well with?
Why don't I put Urza Tron on my deck?
Smart.
So
Smart.
It's a colorless prison deck. And actually, you see Karn the Great Creator and Snaring Bridge, things that you've seen in the different War Prison decks. But the reason to stay colorless here, and I think it's a good reason, is Mystic Forge. It's basically just a more powerful experimental frenzy in this deck, and we're already generating a ton of mana, and we have a ton of zeros to just play off the top of our deck.
And I mean, we're starting to see just Mystic Forge pop up in like other random decks. Like our Modern Seat, Zach Allen played one, Grixis. You see some in just actual Tron lists. Like it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's a powerful card. You build it has built in that you can fix the top of your deck when you run into a card you can't cast or that second land.
Yep.
So frenzy would stop. No, you get to go to the third brick, and you can still play cards from your hand. So it really is just a more powerful experimental frenzy if you build your deck around it, and that's what this deck I think is trying to do.
Yep.
And if Mystic Forge gets going in this matchup, you're gonna have
you're
gonna have to battle rage me. So Thoughtseize, Battle Rage are gonna be important cards from your side.
It really will. Yeah, this should be an interesting matchup. I mean, we obviously have no idea how this matchup is gonna play out. This is a good old Fringe Tuesday here where it's not exactly your expected metagame. Mardu Shadow, like we said, might be a little bit more popular, but I have played against Tron once in testing for the Mythic Championship.
Hey, so you're all set then.
Oh yeah, I know
everything.
it in and out.
We are professionals. That is what happens. We play a match once and we know literally everything.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, let's get this started.
All right.
The marbles are sitting over here. Yeah. So you get to go first?
Yeah, you did kind of crush me last time, so we'll see what's up. All right. Well, good luck to you.
Likewise.
Oh, sorry. I was talking to our director. All right. If we take a look at my hand, I feel like this is kind of just how every hand of Death Shadow has looked since the beginning of time. Always looks quite bad, but you're hoping it develops into something, so I'll keep.
And if you look at my hand, you will see no lands. So let's send this one back. Maybe take an early question if we got one, Rob.
Yeah, we definitely have one from Hysteus. They want to know, what do you think of the Kethis combo deck from the Arena MCQ that I believe is like Sifka and Yvonne Falk played?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of good things about the deck.
Yeah. No, I played against it once. I top-8'd the Classic. And I had to play the Kethis deck in one of the rounds. And it was like turn 3, I'm playing Banscape Shift. And I'm just like, well, this mana base has got to be bad. But let's see how bad it is. I go turn 3, Field of Ruins them. They just shuffle their deck and present back. I'm like, oh, it's that bad, huh? But I think the deck's insanely powerful. Like, it's a combo deck that's able to play the 3-mana 3/4 Kethis, which just against Vampire is just a house. It's a 3/4 legend that costs 3 mana, so it dies to nothing. You can mortify it, but I mean you can't cast down, you can't Legion's End, so it's just a house.
Yeah, you have to bring in Devout Decree.
Exactly. And not even everybody has them.
That too. So both of the sideboard cards kill it.
Sure.
But they're not very good against the rest of the deck.
Yeah, Noxious Grass was actually okay because they have Teferi and Tamiyo. So like it kind of has a good crossover there, but still the deck can just play from its graveyard. You get a Kethis and then just start comboing off like that turn. So I think it's the real deal. I think it is quite strong.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely something if you're playing some standard here for the rest of this season.
Yep.
I would look into that deck if you're not already committed to something.
Which there isn't many standard tournaments left here that are super relevant, but there's got to be some PTQs or MCQs.
We're in garbage time.
Garbage time. All right.
Little lame duck standard action, but different people still going to their FNMs, doing their thing.
I'll still be streaming it. I'll have to stream the deck.
This is not...
5.
This is not a good hand. But against a deck with a ton of discard, I really don't like mulliganing. This is a hand that could develop well. So I'm going to try it, even though I have very low confidence, and we're definitely going to put that one back.
I'm going to start by going to 18 life points. Draw a card. Okay.
I like the first part of that, not the second part.
I'm going to go to 16 life points.
There we go.
I'm going to play a bobble. I'm going to bobble you.
It's good.
Okay.
Is it good?
It's a pretty good magic card.
Okay.
I'm going to go down to 14 and then all the way to 12. Thoughtseize you.
Okay, which of my 2 spells would you like?
Okay, well, your hand is so horrendously bad, I don't know what to take. And I know your card on top. Let's take... You got one Tron piece. I guess we'll take the map. Let you enjoy a nice Mox Opal on top, and then we'll play one more bauble. And then I'll draw your upkeep from a bauble trigger.
Okay, I will play an Urza's Power Plant and pass the turn.
I will bauble you again. God, I have so much information. Okay. All right, so I draw bauble, draw for the turn.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay, well, we're going to go to 10. Of course, the Mardu Shadow is just all about trying to kill myself. We'll go with a Hex Parasite, which is kind of nice. And then we'll go with a Arid Mesa and pass it back to you.
Why did this end up in play?
You played it for 0. It's on the battlefield, man.
No, I did not.
Yeah, sure. Play it for 1. Play it for 1. It'll turn into 0 real quick. Hex Parasite is pretty good against a deck that is about putting on counters on things. Can I get a confirmation that that is indeed good from our director?
That is true.
Okay.
I will play an Urza's Mine and pass the turn.
I'm going to sack.
You're 9.
Oh, do I want to go lower? Seems a little aggressive, but I don't know how you actually deal damage, so we're going to go to 7.
Gonna tutor up this Walking Ballista on my sideboard.
Yeah, probably. Probably. It won't take you very long to kill me from that point. Would you like to cut?
You're good.
Okay. Thanks for the trust. All right. Wanya?
19.
All right. I'm horrifically losing here if we look at the life totals. I will go to 6. Go get a creature called Death Shadows. Have you heard of it?
No, I have.
Okay. Okay. So now I got a Death Shadow, so now I got an actual creature that can do some slapping.
I will play an Inventor's Fair.
Okay. Do you have enough to trigger that? Not quite.
And pass the turn.
Okay. Okay. So Ross is really doing stuff over there. All right, well, get on in there for 4.
I'm at 15.
I'm going to go with Death Shadows.
Yep.
And Death Shadow. Oh, you have Blast Zone.
Yeah, I'm just, like I'm playing. It's been face up the entire game.
All right, maybe we're going to go with 1 Death Shadow. Because that is big enough here. The Death Shadow is a 7 power creature?
7, yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we're just going to go with just one of them. Your turn. So I need to get down to 2 life to be able to actually have lethal on the table right now. All right. That's some things.
Let's play these.
Okay.
Let's play our Blast Zone
Okay.
and pass the turn.
All right. Well, now I'm thinking if I want to, well, I think I do want to do this. I'll attempt to remove a counter.
I will sacrifice the Blast Zone in response.
Okay, so I go down to 5.
Or 4, right? Oh, you paid the...
You have to pay 1.
Pay 1 and 2 life?
Yep.
So you go to 4? It's 1 and a Phyrexian block.
Oh, 1 and a Phyrexian. Okay, I'll just pay the thing and
pay the block, stay at 6.
Yeah, stay at 6.
Okay.
All right.
But then you have to take 1 from the clearing, right? Because you paid 1 for Death Shadow last turn.
Absolutely. So yeah,
you're at 5?
5, yep.
Okay.
So 5 to 15?
Yep.
Okay, so I untapped. Draw. I'll attack.
I am at 12.
All right, now we'll go the other Death Shadow plus an Unearth on this Death Shadow. And then we'll pass it to you.
Upkeep, I'll go to 13.
Yep.
Draw for turn.
In your draw step, yeah, I'll Ranger you.
Get really excited when he didn't just upkeep it. Like, is he just forgetting? Because then I just ripped the ensnaring branch, and now I'm just dead.
I was waiting to give you a little bit of false hope.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, and for anybody who hasn't played with this card, just allows for just a one turn where you're not allowed to play anything. So not only can this card search up your actual kill condition, it can just also solidify the one turn where you would play something like Wrath of God, Bridge, combo off, maybe need a little bit more help from Hogak, and it really kind of does it all. And I was a firm unbeliever of that card right away in this deck. I was like, this just is too slow. Grixis Death Shadows, playing 1 mana 5/5s, backing him up with counter spells, but I think this card is just unreal good.
Yeah, no, that it's basically your stubborn denial, right? Like you get to stop a lot of different things. Sometimes you don't stop removal on your Death Shadow, but then you still have the 3/3 left around, so you're already good against removal by virtue of getting that 2-for-1.
Yeah, it's definitely situational, right? Because, there's a lot of decks that can actually act on, your opponent's turn, so they don't care too much. Like any Path Exile deck, any Bolt deck or whatever, they just don't care. But decks like Tron, Storm, Ad Nauseum, all these decks that literally do stuff on their own turn, it's just insane against.
So looking at the different builds of Death Shadow, it was mainly Grixis and now this Mardu version.
Yep.
If we're looking past Hogak, what kind of meta would you expect to see where you would want to play Grixis or you would want to play Mardu? Like, what makes your decision there for you?
Well, that's tough. It's tough. Like, because Grixis Death Shadow was just so good back in the past, but I don't know, really what has changed so much to make it so bad.
Over time, the format just keeps getting a little bit more efficient, and the time spent casting those cantrips, I think, gets more punished.
Yep.
Whereas, we've still seen decks with lots of cantrips do well, like Is It Phoenix, but that deck was doing things, things were happening while it was casting its cantrips.
Yep.
It was getting things back, triggering thing in the ice. That deck was really using its cantrips just to dig, and so that tempo loss, I think, was pretty big for them. Grixis, I think, is also not nearly as good against humans, whereas adding white to your deck gives you more removal options against them, which can work out well. Ranger Captain is still a 3/3 plus Death Shadow, which is nice against them.
Yep. I think a big a factor of what would make each deck good is if Grixis Death Shadow, if their lightning bolts are really good in the metagame, I think it's reasonable. And if graveyard hate is not as prevalent, I think Grixis is a lot better. But I think we're seeing a perfect storm of both of those things happening right now. Graveyard interaction is really high because of Hogak and Urza, and you have creatures like Urza that can't be lightning bolted and stuff. So Path is dealing with both of those answers. The giant Hogaks, Urza, plus it doesn't care about its graveyard besides Unearth. So I think if the metagame shifts into such a way where those two elements aren't targeted as much, it gets a lot better. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, we'll play another pre-board game here.
Yeah.
That one didn't take very long.
That one felt good. From this side. I did a lot of things.
All my hands just do nothing. Just 1 land, 3 4-drops.
This hand is quite poor as well. See, my hand, I can cast some spells and stuff, but it might just be too bad. I don't know, though. This one's really close. I'd like to phone a friend. I think we're going to keep it just solely on the back of this card. This card just seems insane in this matchup, and I think it's just foolish to send it back. So we're gonna keep it here, chat. We got one more question queued up while we are while Ross is shuffling to oblivion.
Yeah, I got a question on a Fringe deck we're not playing. What are your opinions on Twiddlestorm popping up?
Well, I haven't seen it do well in a paper tournament yet. But I really hope it ends up being good because that deck seems sweet.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I've never cast it and I've never used any brain power to think about if it's good or think about changes to possibly make to upgrade it and stuff. So that one's away from my radar at the moment.
Yeah, I think it's certainly going to be less consistent than a regular Storm deck, but not being vulnerable to creature removal is really nice.
That's true.
And not using your graveyard.
That's true.
Well, it still has passive ways, but it's not as dependent on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of seems like it's in a bad spot because if somebody sees Past in Flames, they're going to bring in their ley lines that they already have, so it's still kind of getting some collateral damage because of Hogak's sins.
Yeah. That deck can just tear through its deck. Once you have the Twiddle with Splice, you're just casting all your Splice cards.
Yeah.
I saw a list that played all 3 of the Kamigawa Splice cards that find Unspeakable.
Okay.
Normally you see just Peer and Reach Through Miss, but they also had Sift Through... It's Peer Through Depths.
Sift Through Time.
Sift Through Time, yeah.
I think it's Sift Through Time, yeah.
The one I know it's 1 blue, draw 2, discard 1, but because it costs 3 mana, it's awkward with the land because you can't splice just off the land.
Sure.
But once you're generating some X mana, then you just kill them with a 6/7 flyer.
That sounds kind of sweet. I've always wanted to see that happen.
Ooh.
Is that one better?
Yeah, this one is definitely better. I think this is going to be the worst card in our hand just because it's so vulnerable to a lot of what Corey is doing. So let's bin that one. And
all right.
I will start on Urza's Mine Expedition map.
Okay.
And I will
just a pretty
also
normal
play a
Tron
bobble.
deck. Oh, just kidding.
Yeah, also a bobble in my Tron deck.
All right, we will sacrifice. Probably taking 3 here. Yeah.
You are a shadow deck.
I am a shadow deck. I should just always be hurting myself.
Yeah. And also, my deck's not really putting a lot of pressure on your life total.
Yeah.
Sometimes, against Burn, you're a little bit more conservative. You let them do a lot of the damage to you.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you start dealing damage to them, that's a way that you actually lose to Burn. But,
yeah.
All right, I'll play your favorite card.
One of Hex Parasite naturally draws it every game.
Your turn. It is your Parasite here.
Well, I have not natural Tron, but I have turn 3 Tron, so that'll work.
That's probably good. I can't return any X counters on that.
Gonna crack this bauble on Corey's turn, so I have multiple draws that are not going to be seen by any discard spells.
Yep. All right, we're going to take 2 here.
Brings you to 15.
15 and attack for big old 1.
19.
All right, your turn.
End step. Pop this map.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess what I could have done there that might have been better. It's a little bit worse against discard, but it's less likely that Corey has discard given that he played Hex Parasite on turn 1.
To just bobble yourself.
Could have bobbled myself on my own turn.
Yep.
And then sacrifice the map.
If you didn't like the card.
Yeah.
Yep. That's reasonable.
But I definitely want to sacrifice the map. So I don't think that because I'm 100% to sack the map anyway. I don't really have that option.
Yeah, unless your hand's really bad. I think as long as you have a playable play for this turn or a decent play.
Bobble you. That's a fine one for you to have.
Uh-oh.
Upkeep draw.
Must be a fatal push.
Draw on my turn.
Tron. So now you're just gonna cast Karn, right? That's all you do. Karn, the 7-mana 1.
I will play an expedition map and pass the turn.
All right, you did it. You did it, buddy. End step cycle.
Sure.
We're really doing stuff here. Really doing normal modern stuff.
Yes. Modern is a very powerful format full of very powerful decks.
Full of Hex Parasites and
turn 3 Tron, map go.
So we did have a question. Why is this Mardu deck playing Hex Parasite normally? Obviously, it's not just for this matchup.
yeah.
So Hex Parasite does just a lot of weird stuff as a singleton 2 target for
It can kill
Ranger
planeswalkers.
Captain. Yeah, it can kill planeswalkers. It can be reasonable against humans, just to shrink their creatures.
Yep.
So you're going to 13 there.
13. Yep. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I've always thought of it more as a cyber card against planeswalkers. I know it's been a singleton pretty often in the Martyr decks, which play Ranger Vios and Ranger Captain now. It's been a staple of those archetypes.
But otherwise, yeah, it seems a little wild for me. But just as a one-of, I mean, even just the application of killing planeswalkers, I think is enough,
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take 1. We'll make it 3.
Brings you to 10.
And then... But wait, there's more.
Yeah. Ranger Captaining.
No, I think we'll just Angler here. All right, and then it's your turn.
Zombie fish.
Zombie
let's pop
fish.
this map.
Okay. And we had other options in our hand here. I still think that was the best one, just getting the most power in. This was another thought, but I'm saving that for next turn. I think this is going to be a great play next turn to maybe try to do a little bit of prison-style magic myself. Fail to find?
I don't think I'm going to be doing that.
Okay, good call, good call.
But what I might do, I think I'm going to find this Inventor's Fair.
Okay. Do some gain in life with all your artifacts you got in play?
Eventually.
All right. So there's definitely a lot I'm afraid of from that side. Most of them are the cards that are in actual Tron. I don't know necessarily about the cards in Charge Tron.
Okay. I'll play this Blast Zone from my hand, and then we're going to pop it to deal with that Hex Parasite.
All right, it's dead.
So that's my land for turn. Then I'm going to play... Do I want to play this now or hold this to make it bigger? I have plenty of mana.
Okay.
So why don't we just play this on 2?
Okay.
And then play a Chalice on 1.
Chalice on 1. Okay. It's pretty good.
That'll stop Unearth on that Parasite, any discard spells. It'll stop Death Shadows.
Lower that to Chalice on 0. That would have been nice.
Yeah. And then I'll play Moxel.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
I'll attack you with a zombie fish.
I will go to 13.
Okay. Now we'll go with Ranger, Captain of Eos. Search for a 1-drop.
Perfect.
Thin in my deck here. I don't think there's any other choice, and there's no way around Chalice. Maybe he'll forget, though. Go with the Shadow of Death.
Are we good after that?
I'm going to play a land.
Excuse me.
I might play a 1-drop here.
Okay.
All right, we'll pass.
See how that goes for you.
Look at our hand. It's very good against what he has right now.
Okay. I will play Inventor's Fair. I will pop it, floating a mana.
Okay.
I'm going to just try to contain the battlefield here by finding Ensnaring Bridge, casting it with the floating mana. I have 2 cards in hand, so neither can attack.
Sounds good.
I will pass the turn.
And I had an option to Ranger this turn to have you not play anything, or even in response to the Inventor's Fair. But if I do that, I mean, sure, I get to hit for 5, but then I'm locked out anyways. So I don't think it really pays. But I just don't know if there's much I can do in general. Well, I guess we won't play this quite yet. I'm going to sacrifice this land, do some digging for something. Your turn.
Okay.
Bridge got us good.
It's a good magic card. Let's play an Urza's Power Plant and a Core Tapper.
Okay.
You're up.
All right.
Can't get pushed, can't get pathed.
It's unkillable.
You've done a good job of protecting our Core Tapper. That'll bring you to 9.
That'll bring me to 9, and mostly I'm just checking to see if there's a possible way I can get out of a bridge game 1, and I don't think there is. Unless you just draw spells you can't cast, but you have Tron, so yeah, I'm just locked.
Okay.
I got nothing.
Are we done here?
Yep, we're done. My hand, quite good against...
Yeah. I had to sit there and deal with the Hex Parasite before playing the Chalice, which was in my opening hand.
Yeah.
But
yeah, Hex Parasite is insane, but I just couldn't do anything. I had no pieces to get out of it.
In 2 turns, I'm going to draw a Karn, and that'll win the game.
Yep.
I'll find Mike's and Gladys, and then Walking Ballista,
and just go to town.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, luckily in the sideboard, every deck gets better against Bridge. Every deck has some answers, so...
Well, we will check out what those answers are in just a minute. We'll take a short break here and get back and finish this incredibly thrilling match of Charge Tron against Mardu Shadow.
A very normal match. This is a very tier 1 versus tier 1
match in Modern.
Stay tuned. All right, everybody, welcome back here to Versus Live, sponsored by Carnox Chairs. We are in the Mardu Shadow versus Charge Tron matchup here. Going into sideboarding here, my sideboarding is quite easy, to be honest. I'm bringing in anything that says destroy target artifact, destroys a land, and because Gideon is pretty sweet, and I have a lot of dead cards, I wanted to bring in Gideon as well. Cards I'm taking out, Nile Spellbomb, very bad against you. Just a cantrip. And then I have a total of 7 removal spells that are basically all dead. So I definitely want to take out at least 4 of them. I left in 2 path, 1 fatal push. I could see, depending on what you bring in, like if we see a worm coil here, I probably should leave in more pass, but sideboarding in the dark, I'd take out a little bit of each, thinking maybe you have like Thought Knot Seers coming in. And yeah, that's about it. Pretty straightforward from my side.
Yeah. On my side, I'm doing a pretty common thing against these heavy disruption decks, and that is cutting out a good portion of the synergy dependent portion of my deck. There are multiple mana engines in the deck, and one of them is this charge counter, so like Surge Node, Core Tapper on Chalice and Cornucopia kind of thing. And those are really difficult to get off if your opponent's casting a bunch of discard spells. And then in particular in this matchup because of Hex Parasite. So I'm cutting all my Surge Nodes. I'm also going to be like really digging and trying to play Chalice early, prioritizing that. So 1 mana spells get worse. So we're cutting our Surge Nodes and our Cornucopias. We're bringing in our Jars, which should help against the artifact removal that everybody's going to bring in against us.
Yep.
And then will also help us replace some of these cheap artifacts for Mox Opal. And then Karn to give us a little bit more of threat density, a little bit of card advantage against all the removal and discard spells that he's playing. And then I've decided to bring in the tutor target of Wormcoil Engine. This is normally here on the sideboard for Karn the Great Creator. I'm going to bring it into the main because I wanted 1 more card to bring in. And I don't think I'm usually going to be Karning for this card, because usually if you have 6 mana and you're activating Karn, you're just grabbing Mycos and Gladys and killing them. And if they have a bunch of creatures that you're trying to kill, you can just get Bridge and lock them out.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
I was going to say, you're going from 4 Wormcoil Engines in your main deck down to 1 now?
Yeah. and notably, this is still a tutor target that we can find with Inventor's Fair, which we can find with maps. So as a one of, we still have a tutor chain.
Sure.
We can map for fair for Wormcoil and get it into play that way. So we're not just relying on drawing it naturally.
That sounds not fair.
It's multiple tutors in a row.
All right, so this should be interesting. I think sideboarding probably favors me a little bit more because I'm bringing in ways to deal with Bridge, which is just like the auto win game 1. So
Bridge and Chalice.
And Chalice, exactly. Yeah. So, but not a ton. I mean, like Shenanigans is the biggest one, so that's going to be a very important card. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So I'm on the play, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do we got any questions while we're shuffling up here?
Yeah.
Right.
Red Kleplin was mentioning that both these decks are playing, almost 3 basics total between the two of them. When you're building a deck for a format like Modern and you're looking at the meta, how do you bring into consideration things like Ghost Quarter and Field of Ruin when you're building your deck?
I think basically just the fact that if getting Ghost Quarter, getting Field of Ruined, or not having a bunch of targets for Path, if that is a big deal against you, and if the answer is yes, you want to add more basics. I think both of our decks, your Field of Ruin is a little rough, but you're not necessarily a Tron deck, so it's not like backbreaking for you like normal Tron.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, I don't need many basics. 1 to 2 targets is... 2 is like plenty, 3 would be too many in my opinion, and 1, I think 1 extra just in case. Yeah. But yeah,
even if you found your 2 basics and then they strip mine you again, you operate off of 2 lands pretty well, maybe a third.
Yeah,
which is not hard to find.
Yeah, basically just if it hurts your deck that bad, you probably think about adding a little more, I think would be my safe assumption here.
And that's what we've seen happen with Tron. A couple of years ago, people were playing a second color in their Tron decks, green-black, green-white.
Yeah.
And now they've all figured out because of Field of Ruin, it's like, okay, we just need a ton of basics, like 4 or 5 basics, and now they're just mono-green as a result.
Yep, and it seems like the decks are more efficient.
Yep.
Because of it. Okay, if we take a look at my hand, my hand is way too slow. I'm not casting anything until turn 3 with Ranger Captain of Eos. I have a Path, which is already a pretty bad card, and an Angler, which is going to cost a lot in this hand. It's way too bad. My hand is also very slow, and the issue here is if I get Thought Seized or Inquisitioned or Tide Hollow Scullered, Corey just takes this, and then I do nothing until turn 4, and I don't really have a way to backdoor Tron. With only the 1 Tron piece in my hand. So this sounds like a mulligan.
This can also go away.
Yep. All right. Shuffle up. We'll be down to 6 here. Luckily, the London Mulligan rule helps us a lot. It's not like both of our decks are super reliant on it, but still Modern, where you really want to be affecting the board on the first 3 turns. So no matter what, it's really going to help each of us out.
Yep.
Got any more questions queued up while we shuffle again?
Yeah, What do you think about Giver of Runes in the Mardu Shadow deck? Is that something that could maybe improve it?
I mean, I think the card is good, but I do like just like having the game plan of turn 1 thought seizing, disrupting the first few turns, and then just playing a large amount of shadows or tutoring them up. But it's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I can't say it's bad. I'm not the biggest believer in that card. I know you're a little bit higher on Giver of Runes than I am. But...
I'm a pretty big fan of the card. I think it slots pretty clearly into certain styles of decks, and Mardu Shadow is not one of them. Like, you're not that threat dense.
Especially this version.
And your protection already comes naturally from the bunch of discard. You tear their hand apart, and then your shadow should survive. So I don't think it's really necessary. It could be a singleton target for Ranger Captain. That's about where I wouldn't play more than the one.
Yeah.
And even that just seems like an unnecessary use for a slot. I'd rather just find another Death Shadow, right?
Yeah. I mean, being able to search for it with Ranger is kind of cute, so that's interesting. But I think protect a Death Shadow or just have another one, know?
So I'm not a fan. This deck gets its protection from thought seizing. You really want Giver in decks that either have really high leverage 2-drops so that you get to force the removal out of their hand or have protection. So if you're playing, Thalia on turn 2 or Devoted Druid on turn 2, maybe Spellqueller on turn 3 even, those kinds of cards that really have a high impact if they stick on the battlefield and come down and curve naturally with Giver, then you're in good shape. And you also just want to play Giver in decks that have lots of creatures. Because that's when people are going to be playing a lot of removal against you. Here, the discard is dual purpose. It can protect your creatures if you need it to, but it can also disrupt your opponent's game plan. Giver doesn't do that. And you need that dual threat from your disruptive spells in this deck because of the way it functions.
Yeah, I could see Giver being a lot better in the third deck I'm going to be playing today. That seems nice. Okay, we take a peek at my hand. This hand is good. Definitely no complaints about this. What to put back here? I honestly think it's only one real choice because I definitely want this core. This core is really good, and then I want something to be able to close a game. So I want this. So it's kind of process of elimination. I think it has to be one of these cards. So I'll keep in bottom this card. Ooh, Ross is in forehead tanking mode here. That smells like a 5 to me. What do you think?
Yeah, even if I hit a land with this hand, I'm going to be spending so many turns digging for extra lands with expedition maps that I don't think I can justify keeping this hand.
Okay.
It does have Chalice, but the best case scenario, I think, is us. I mean, if we rip a land and map into Chalice and this other map sits dead in our hand, so we probably want a Chalice on turn 3, and that's just not good enough.
That's fair. That's fair.
I don't know exactly how many lands are in this deck, but I have had some really polarized draws.
Yeah.
5 land hands, 1 land hands.
Weird.
Just,
it's got to be a large amount, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, you would think, but maybe with Mox Opals and everyone's Chalices and stuff, it actually skimps on lands, and that's sort of the idea.
You got to cheat on it a little bit.
We've got I think we got a full 4 Blast Zones and a bunch of Ghost Quarters too.
I mean, Blast Zone's great against me.
Yeah.
It's destroy all your Death Shadows that can't be Thoughtseize. That's great.
Agreed. Definitely a really good card. And that may be one of the things that keeps Death Shadow in check is decks playing Blast Zone.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's not a lot and it hasn't really caught on yet, but I bet if it does, you're going to see a lot less Death Shadows in the metagame. Is your hat nice?
Well, I've got these 3.
Oh God. Okay. Well, that's got to be a keep.
But then I have 2 more of them. And
those look like a perfect 2 cards to put to the bottom.
I guess I'm on the draw, so I might as well play around Thoughtseize here. So let's I guess just keep that one and put these on the bottom.
Okay.
You're up.
All right. Well, we will sacrifice this. There's no way I'm not casting a hand disruption spell in an open game here, so you might get me, but
which one are we casting?
Inquisition.
Okay. Well, I have 4 Tron lands in a Blast Zone, so the only spell was in an Expedition map.
All right.
Let's just put that one on the bottom.
Yeah, knowing perfect information, I definitely would probably not cast that, but that's not how we're playing. I'm going to bobble you as well. Okay.
This will help out Corey's Full Littered Mages. You know, he'll know I have a second copy of mine and not
And a
target
second
that one.
copy of Power Plant.
You can go.
All right. Okay, we're gonna sack.
Oh yeah, you just bobbled me, so you actually now
15.
know I have second power plant.
Yeah.
Too.
I drew a bobble, right?
I
believe
so
I
if
did.
this replaced itself, and that's about to replace itself, then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Yeah, which is how many you should have.
8. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so I'm down to 15 with that Street Wraith. I'll go down to 13 with this one.
Oh no. Am I not even going to get to turn 4 this blast zone?
No, it's not as bad as you think, I have to say. But we will go to 10 and get a Blood Crypt here. I want to make sure I have access to all lands. Actually, it's probably better to get Sacred Foundry just because of Ranger to have double white.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll be at 10. And since
still
I know
casts
your
Fulminator.
hand is absolutely garbage, I will go like this.
Big fish.
Big fish. All right, delve away a bunch of this, and then it's your turn. I guess it's better to leave a Street Wraith in my graveyard just in case I Colligan's Command to be able to return something. All right.
You can go. More lands.
You got it.
More
buddy.
lands.
I will attack.
15.
It's just going to be tough for you to bridge me just because you won't have you won't be able to dip your hand. All right, we'll go with the Death Shadow.
Yep.
Your turn. Or do I want to do that? You're at 15, huh? Yeah, okay, your turn. Tron. All right, there's that one card.
Well,
A
let's think
castable
about this.
magic card.
It's definitely castable, and I would want to Tron with it, but I would lose it if I do that.
Oh, is it Karn, huh?
But maybe that's still reasonable because it's probably not great in a but then I'm just not going to cast it for 2 more turns. And I'm going to take a bunch of damage in the meantime. So I'm going to have to do it next turn anyway. So I might as well do it now.
Okay.
So let's Karn and get a bridge.
All right, that's
And
pretty
We can
strong.
play it.
All right, so I got to make sure I don't take any more damage with Death Shadow here.
So that'll be on 3. Yeah, just get this off the
Get
battlefield.
that out of there, yeah.
Before I do something I might regret.
Yeah, before I do something stupid with it. Okay, well, kind of got punished on that one. I will attack Karn. Now let's bobble and bobble you. Okay, nice draw. And I guess we'll go with a Sculler. Take nothing. And then pass it to you. Draw a card off bobble. Mind games.
Is it good or is it not good?
Would you trust me if you asked and answered, and I answered you?
Not in a million years.
Smart.
Here's the thing. If it's good, am I going to be casting it over playing Blast Zone and killing Death Shadow? Probably not.
That's a good point.
Which is kind of a problem because then it just gets eaten by a discard spell. I think I'm just going to draw it because I already have a plan for my turn, and I didn't really get a good read off of Corey. It is, of course, horrendous.
Good draw, man. Blast Zone, yep.
You're up.
All right. So we can still attack with Death Shadow. All right, we'll attack.
Let's pop.
Yeah, maybe that might be smart.
Okay, don't want to.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's finding a land, so that's not going to die to a discard spell.
Yeah.
So let's pop this.
What was the land that I saw off Bobble?
It's another mine.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't really care if Corey takes out the tower because I have a bunch of lands anyway.
Yep.
So I think I want to get either second Blast Zone to cover another Shadow or an Inventor's Fair. Another Shadow could be really annoying because I'm just never emptying my hand. Because I've drawn a million lands. But those are really the only two options.
Yeah, what a weird game.
I'm going to have to draw multiple good things to turn on the Inventor's Fair anyway, so I think I'll just get Blast Zone and cover myself against another Shadow.
Okay.
And then blow up your Shadow, and then go to 13.
13, okay. So now I have options. I can play a Shadow here, but it is starting to get a little large. I think we're actually going to... Since we have to go to 9, the Death Shadow is going to be a 4/4. So that's not great. So I think we're just going to get a Swamp. And if Ross doesn't draw exactly a land, it couldn't attack anyways. Plus that one hit isn't too great. So I think we're just going to play Fulminator Mage. And I kind of just want to blow up this tower now. It really chokes your draw, even though... Fulminator could attack next turn.
You're up.
Ooh, hello. All right, well, that was a solid draw. That was a solid draw. If we look at my hand, now we got options of what to do. I mean, it just can't be wrong to do this. 7. Okay, we will wear that down. Unleash the zombie fish.
I go to 8.
You were at 13, right?
Oh, I was at 13. I forgot that. Oh, that's much worse.
Yep. So you go to 6. And then, do we think your one card is good? I mean, we don't need any more threats, and a Death Shadow isn't great here, so let's take a peek. All right.
You're at 7.
Your turn.
Little late.
Yeah, that doesn't work, huh? Mox Opal. Oh my god, now Mox Opal.
Go to 5.
Okay. I don't know what you can possibly get, but...
Third power plant.
All right, taking it down. Yeah. That was a pretty solid draw. But if I did not draw this, like, you're taking over with Mystic Forge there.
That would have happened very quickly. Oh, the Opal was next.
But you needed to Opal into something, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I would have, if I had one more turn, then I would have gotten to the point where I have Tron again. Have this to shuffle.
I love that you drew 3 copies of each Tron land just to really cover your bases there.
Yeah. What bases did I really cover, Corey?
Your Urza power land. That's what you covered.
I covered having mana to cast my non-existent spells.
Yeah, that was impressive. Good work. Well,
okay,
we're running a little bit out of time here. What do you think? Should we try to get one more in, or
no? I think we should just move on because that's 3. You got the best of 3. This when I was able to do things in that second game, it felt good.
Yeah,
but in game 1, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan to 5 again. Game 3, I did mulligan to 5.
Yeah,
just didn't do a whole lot. It's only 3 games, so I can't really tell how representative that is.
Yeah.
But if that is, then, that inconsistency is a problem. But when I was doing my thing, the deck felt pretty powerful. We didn't get to see a whole lot of Mystic Forge, which is a little disappointing. We saw the prison element in this matchup show up more so, and Searing Bridge be very important. But I'm very confident that Mystic Forge is the card that makes this deck tick.
Yeah. And all I picture is like what's Karn Liberated, like sitting at a table of Magic, okay? Sitting next to me playing and picks up Hex Parasite and he's like, cute. And then Karn the Great Creator picks up Hex Parasite and he's like, gasp. Like, I feel like that's the big difference. Have you ever just played normal Tron stuff against me when I'm just trying to Hex Parasite you out? Like, I'm dead, I'm dead.
This is not normal Tron stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But a cool deck. I think Mystic Forge is a very powerful card.
Mystic Forge is insane.
And I like, building around it, which is what this deck is doing.
Yep.
Unfortunately, some of the things that you're doing to build around it are not particularly powerful, like Core Tapper. not a powerful Magic card.
That's true. Not on its own.
Yeah.
Neither is Hex Parasite.
Yeah. Astral Cornucopia. Not a powerful Magic card.
Yeah. Pay 3, add 1 later on, right?
Yeah. A little Manolith.
Yeah.
It's Manolith with upside.
I like it. I like it.
It's more in this deck. It's more like pay 0, tap for mana later.
Yeah, but Everflowing Chalice is just like always a better card unless you can like actually put counters on it. Like if you ever have to pay for it the fair way, it's just always going to be worse.
That's why we have 4 Everflowing Chalice and only 3 Cornucopia.
Touche.
That's just good deck building.
That's just genius deck building right there. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. We got a few questions over there, Rob, before we cut to a commercial break.
Yeah, we had one from Cindy, and this is not exactly about the games, but they said they're attending their first MCQ this weekend. And did you have any advice for controlling nerves?
That's something that for me, and I think this is pretty common, came with time. I can remember the first time I top 8 at a PTQ, and I was super nervous playing for top 8 in the last round, and incredibly nervous playing in the actual top 8. I played a horrible match of Magic and lost.
Oh yeah, everyone does their first couple times.
Not to say that that's going to befall you,
yeah.
But over the years, a couple things have helped me. One is making a concerted effort to just stay in the game. And not really think about where you're going or how you're doing. And once the game is over, you can spend some time like taking notes, but I would try not to analyze games until later on.
Yeah.
And just stay in the moment. And then 2 is to like have something that sort of helps regulate your emotions. For me, it's music. I'll often pop in music between rounds.
Oh, yeah.
And just have certain songs to play. I know Kibler is a big fan of having a song for the weekend that he'll listen to before every single round just to get himself in the same headspace. Maybe something like that works for you. But a lot of it is just trial and error. You got to, because it's a very personal thing. It's just what works for you. But so you got to figure that out. But as for your first, those are your goals. One is to just sort of regulate those nerves, keep yourself even keeled, and you can try to do it in some third party way. And 2 is to just not get caught up in like what record you need for top 8.
Yeah.
I'll look at that in the beginning and I'll know it. But I won't really think about it while I'm playing the rounds. I try to stay really focused on the games.
I think it's a really toxic thing to think. Be like, okay, if I just win 2 more, I'm in the top 8. Then you're focusing on that record you need. And that was at least a really toxic thing for me personally. Like now I'm just like, people will say like, if we win the next 2, like we're in top 8, right? And I'm just like, I need to win round 6. I need to win this round that I am playing, And yeah, I've had the same thing. I listened to 3 Little Birds like before every single round. That's like the most chill, relaxed song that just gets you ready. But yeah, I would say music as well. Songs. I think that's great.
But it might be something else for you. Like meditation is something that works for people. You can find a quiet corner of the site and do that between rounds. Just figuring it out. And then all the basic stuff, be prepared, sleep, stay hydrated.
Exactly. Yeah. just focus on your games. I think that's plain and simple.
Yeah.
All right. Chimera MTG, what keeps you from waffling between decks right before a tournament starts?
Nothing. We do.
I certainly will on occasion, but and I have sometimes to some success, but oftentimes to my own ruin. But it's not something that I think happens consistently for me. Usually, like I'll just lock in on a deck, and like that's the deck I'm playing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a specific mindset I have, or more just like I don't own every single deck, so the deck I bring is the deck I'm playing.
Sure. I don't know. I have kind of the opposite thing of that. And a quick story, like one of the greatest Magic players of all time, Seth Manfield, good friend of mine, we'll stay together quite often, and he is up until the final hour just feel like, I was like, Seth, did you at least narrow it down to 3 decks? And he was like, I'm really considering this now. And I'm like, come on, buddy, pick one. But I mean, even the greatest players, are waffling between decks, because that means you're always thinking about like what you're expecting for the tournament. What do you expect the metagame? What you think people are gonna change to last minute because of this new information or whatever. I think waffling from decks is okay if you're experienced in both decks. If you're going from a deck that to a deck you don't know but you think is a better choice, it's almost always incorrect. If you know both decks perfectly, switching last minute is not that big of a deal, but that comes with experience. That comes with player experience. Just playing over the years. Like, I mean, even like our last match we're going to play is like a 4-color Saheeli deck that I'm playing. I've played that deck so often, even though it's a different iteration, I have experience from so long ago playing that deck. So if I kind of switched onto a deck like that, I already played the premise of it. I have experience of it. But for people who've never picked up a different deck, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. I completely agree. You know, the swap only makes sense if it's between decks that you're equally skilled with or relatively equally skilled.
If you know nothing about either deck, though, feel free to change that.
Flip that coin. But I do often waffle on like the last 3 cards of my sideboard. And that's something that, like, you know, up until the last day, I'm trying to get information and make a more informed decision based on what people are playing. So that I think that that's just natural. I think that comes from the fact that you care, you know, that you're worried about whether or not you're making the right decision.
Exactly.
But I've learned over the years that, like, you know, I should lock in my deck a couple days before, make sure I get, you know, enough games with it because that's really important, and then you know, make sure that, you know, if I'm waffling on a couple of cards, that I make the decision in time, that I'm not worried. Like, I never want to make that decision at 9 a.m. Waking up the next day. I always want to make it the night before. Wake up, know that I have my deck set, and just sort of be confident that I'm, like, you know, over time you get more confident in yourself. So that, you know, that helps. That when I finally settle on something, like, okay, this is what I've decided, and, you know, sometimes, like, you make the right decision and get punished, so, and you've got to be okay with that. And that again comes with experience. You'll find the times when you get punished or where you get lucky and you make the wrong decision and get rewarded. And it all happens. And just be confident that over a large sample, like, you'll keep making better and better decisions and your win rate will improve.
Yeah, I think you said it right, though, when you're like, if you're not waffling between decks, though, you're not caring enough. Like, if you're just jamming the deck that you started testing all week because it's what you tested, like, that's a bad way to think of it. You know, you constantly want to be thinking and making your deck perfect, tune it, you know? Obviously, I've made last-minute decisions that have been horrible for me, but it didn't mean I didn't care, you know? Yeah.
Okay. I think we are going to call it there and take a, you know, can we do 5 minutes, Rob?
Yeah, we'll do 5 minutes.
Okay, we'll do a 5-minute break. We'll come back for the second match of our Wacky Modern decks, and this time we are going to have Gruul Phoenix against Mono Red Prison, but with a little bit of an update for Modern Horizons, so don't go anywhere.